Bringing you this rebroadcast of the Homewood Patriots game, and we hope that we can get the color situation with our camera worked out before too very long. But Homewood, as you look at it, is in their home jerseys, which are red over white, and it may look green over white to you, and we hope you'll just bear with us as we try and solve this technical problem. Here's the first play from scrimmage as John Carroll's quarterback takes it back and drops a pass out into the flat. Complete out at the to John Carroll's number 81, Jeff Carlisle, out at the 43-yard line. We came on late in the pregame to try and solve this technical problem for you, and therefore we haven't had a chance to set the opening offense and defensive starting lineups, and we'll try and do that for you. Suffice it to say, Homewood coming into this 8-1, John Carroll coming in 0-8. This the final game of Homewood's regular season. That time a loss on the play back to about the 42-yard line, loss of perhaps a yard, as Damon Southward in on that stop for Homewood. Again, if you're just joining us now, the color is off a little bit.
Quite a bit.
Perhaps a lot.
Interesting. It's just the opposite of the way it should be. John Carroll tonight has green helmets, green numerals. Homewood, red jerseys, red piping, and it's just the exact opposite of the way it should be. You see Homewood in green, John Carroll with the red colors.
Well, the reception again by Jeff Carlisle of John Carroll, good for a John Carroll first down and breaking the line at the 50-yard line into Homewood territory, the ball down on about the 47.5. Eugene Oliver in on the stop and defending for Homewood. Fred, while we've got a moment, why don't we give the starting offensive lineup for John Carroll. Their quarterback is number 12, Chip Hughes. He also does the kicking and the punting for the John Carroll Cavaliers. They have Jeff Carlisle, number 81, at split end, and you've seen Carlisle in action twice already tonight with one first down. We'll set the rest of the offensive line after this play from scrimmage. 1st and 10 now from the Homewood 47.5-yard line, and that play going absolutely nowhere. Carroll starts at offensive tackle number 71, Kevin Tadarek. Their guard, number 79, is Jorge Alonzo. Following that tackle by Damon Southward. 65, Jason Mitchell is their center as they change teams now and prepare to punt. The quarterback, number 12, Chip Hughes, will go into punt formation. Homewood sending back Robert Davis and looks like Brian Greer. Brian Greer is the usual. Hughes gets a kick away. It's a low and wobbly kick. Brian takes it in at the 19-yard line, falls forward to about the 24 for a return of 5, and Homewood takes over with his first offensive possession. First down at its own 24-yard line. Not much offense out of Carroll that time, but I'll tell you something. Carlisle, the wide receiver, may figure heavily in this game.
He could indeed. John Carroll 0-8 so far this season, but they're not an 0-8 team. They're not that bad. They've played some tough competition here in Birmingham. They can put the ball in the air. They've had some trouble, as you saw in that first series, running the ball, and they will have trouble running against a stiff Homewood defense, but they can put the ball in the air with some degree of success.
Here's Homewood 1st and 10 from its own 24, and the give to you-know-who, Robert Davis. Off right tackle and out for a gallop of about 15 yards, it looks like, possibly a little bit more. Good for a Homewood first down.
You may not be able to tell on your screen right now, but the rain is starting to fall once again. It's been raining all day today, and it's starting once again. A slight downpour, not heavy, but a steady downpour. Brian Greer, actually a victim of wet turf on that punt return. Robert Davis, however, on that play, having no trouble with the turf.
Roberson passes out in the flat to, looks like number 84, Dwight Whalen, and in and out of Dwight's hands. Some of the folks we're going to see on the John Carroll defensive front now, you noticed a tackle the last time by Zach Tankersley. They're number 1. He is a right corner who plays up in that middle linebacker position sometime. They have Stan Huner, number 45, at the end. Chris Long, 78, at tackle. Dale Sullivan, 64, at nose. Chance Willingham, 76, at the other tackle. And Kevin Tadarek at number 71 at the other defensive end. Here's Homewood, 2nd and 10 now. Roberson on the give to Davis. Davis up and across the 45, shy of the 46-yard line. Well, just shy of the 45, the way they mark it down. Gain of about 6 on the play as the rain really begins to come down here at Waldrop Stadium. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 4.
Well, this should effectively eliminate any chance that, or any type of plays Homewood might have had in their arsenal of throwing.
Here's Davis. Davis on the run, and he may be gone. He's got one man to get around. He successfully evades him. Looks like a touchdown for Robert Davis and a touchdown for the Homewood Patriots, striking early first blood in this contest with 8:55 remaining in the first quarter. A 55-yard run from scrimmage, something, Fred Morris, that we've become accustomed to in this press box.
Out of Robert Davis, that's just the play. And they've started this game, as they have so many this season, stuffing the opponent's offense on the first series, taking the ball in fairly good field position, running some steady, sound offensive plays. Robert Davis breaking off tackle and going the distance.
Here is Wes Steed in to attempt the extra point. Jay Roberson, the holder. Snap is back. The kick is up. And the kick is good. Timeout on the field now. 8:55 remaining in the first period of play here from a soggy Waldrop Stadium on a Friday night. And Homewood takes the lead over John Carroll, 7-0. Might mention that in area standings so far this year, Homewood, of course, finished number 1 in its area. McAdory finished second. Fairfield in midfield. We played at midfield last week. Tied for third, and then John Carroll, the team we're playing tonight, finished up fifth. We will play against the number 2 team, or the runner-up in the Area 10 contest, and that's going to be E.B. Irwin. As far as we know, that will be next Friday night, this coming Friday night, 2 nights from the night that you're watching this replay, right here at Waldrop Stadium in Homewood.
Of course, Homewood played Irwin earlier in the season, about 3 games ago, and looking to face them again in the playoffs.
I believe we just got the color back.
I believe we did.
You can see Wes Steed kicking off there, a short, high kick. It comes down, and the Carroll receiver lets it go. I believe it's out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. We'll have to see exactly where they mark it down, maybe as much as the 24 or 25. The rain poured down for about 2 or 3 minutes, starting right about at the time Robert Davis made that long run, and it was enough to send the Homewood Patriot marching band scurrying for cover with those wool uniforms on. I believe we've got a flag now on the field. Yeah, there you can see it right over at the sideline by the gentleman with the first down marker, and the officials confer. We'll have to see what the penalty call is. Continuing that discussion, Fred, on the playoff situation, we'll play the number 2 team in Area 10, and that was E.B. Irwin.
E.B. Irwin,
we
who
played
was
Irwin
earlier.
once this year.
You remember that game, Barry? Homewood jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead. Irwin came back and scored a touchdown and actually tied up the game in the second half before Homewood pulled away, I believe, winning 28-14.
Irwin, a tough team. They finished second in Area 10. Pell City finished first. The winner of the Irwin Homewood game would then play the winner of the, let me think here, it would be the Etowah Oxford game.
Etowah Oxford or Etowah Walter Welborn.
That's right.
The winner of the Walter Welborn
Oxford still has to play an area game against Walter Welborn, and Etowah, or Gadsden, I guess is a better way to say that, still has to play against Emma Sansom. So the winner of those 2 contests would play the winner of the Irwin Homewood game, and that's looking way out in the future. We ought to concentrate on this particular game, and we'll do a better job of that for you now that the color's back.
Homewood offside on the kickoff.
Yeah, it looks like an
so
illegal
we'll
procedure call. They'll move it back 5 yards, and we'll kick it again.
See the rain continuing to fall here at Waldrop
Good
Stadium.
shot of the rain, and I'll tell you what, the guys that are getting those shots for you are in some tough conditions tonight. Our camera persons operating in the broadcast crew here tonight are really operating under tough conditions as the rain just pours down here at Waldrop Stadium. We need windshield wipers on the press box, but thank goodness for the press box.
We've called several games from actually outside in the stands this season, but this is the one time it pays to be at home.
Here's Steed's kick again, taken in on about the 18-yard line by John Carroll. They bring it out just across the 30 to about the 31-yard line.
Dusty Smith, Jonathan Hamaker, Lee Thompson, Eric Rebels on the tackle.
Trying to get the Carroll numbers for you here.
Interesting situation when you're playing in a game like this, when it's raining this hard. If your offense can come through and get a couple of touchdowns for you, 14, 21 points on the board, then they actually become somewhat of a delightful game to play if your team's up by 2 or 3 touchdowns. It's usually a lot of fun for the players.
That time the give to number 31, John Paul Church, Hamaker and Rebels on the tackle. Church is their, I believe he's their second man through. Number 32, Clarence Merriweather, is their tailback, or their fullback. We'll see how they set up in the backfield this time. We'll try to get. Well, they set it at a. Whoa! Strong defensive play. I believe they got him before the handoff, and there may have been a fumble. Indeed, there was a fumble. Homewood recovers. Damon Southward back there in the backfield and comes up with the football on a strong defensive play that turns it over down deep in John Carroll territory. So Homewood takes over now, and we'll call the line of scrimmage about the 30, right on the 30-yard line. The officials are holding the ball underneath the towel and not putting it down on the ground to keep it as dry as possible in this just absolutely driving rainstorm here.
Patriots taking it to John Carroll early in this game.
The handoff that time was to Kenneth Evans, and he was out ahead of the pack, but flags flew right at the moment the ball was snapped. It looks as though the field is draining pretty well. We don't have any any visible puddles at this particular time. I talked to Coach Gerald Gann right before the game, Fred, and he said he had brought teams to play on worse fields than this, but it was so soaked from a day of rain today that it's going to get in a mess in a hurry.
I think the officials usually try and keep the ball on the hash marks if possible, keep the center of the field from getting chewed up too badly. And they'll do the best they can. Their main concern right now is keeping a dry ball on the field at all times.
Well, after the illegal procedure penalty, brings up 1st and 15, and Robert Davis gets back about 6 of it. Mitchell is the John Carroll defender. Jason Mitchell, one of their linebackers. We better learn these numbers in a hurry because the way that mud is out there on those white jerseys, we won't see them long. Here's Roberson with 2nd and 9 now, and the give to Kenneth Evans. Evans just driving ahead hard. Kenneth really having a great game last weekend against Midfield. Just a super game last weekend against Midfield.
He's put together 3 or 4 actually outstanding games during this drive to wrap up the regular season for Homewood. The McAdory game comes to mind. Several key plays there. I think he averaged in those key plays somewhere between 17 and 24 yards a carry in those 3 or 4 key plays that actually turned the tide of the game in Homewood's favor. And he's put together 3 or 4 good games when Homewood needed them most.
Carroll's Chance Willingham on the stop that time. Now here's Roberson with 3rd and about 3. A little screen pass to Kenneth Evans. Beautiful play, and Kenneth has it down inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line, 11-yard line. Beautiful play that time with Zach Tankersley on the tackle for John Carroll. I don't know that we've seen that little screen to Kenneth Evans. Have we seen that this year?
We saw the play. The only difference, Robert Davis was catching the pass.
Right, that's what it was.
You've got to applaud the coaching staff here at Homewood. They know where their receivers are going. Roberson knows where to put the ball. He didn't have to throw it far, and he didn't have to throw it hard, and he put it right where it needed to be, and Kenneth Evans did the rest. A good call and a good execution for Homewood.
Good shot of Jay Roberson there as he gives to Kenneth Evans. Evans over right tackle, down I think across the 5, maybe just shy of the 5-yard line as we look at it here. It's at a pretty severe angle, but it looks like it's on about the 5-yard line, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 5. A first down would be makeable inside the goal line on about the 1-yard line.
Look for Homewood here to just pound it on in. They've got John Carroll reeling right now, playing on their heels, and that offensive line is really firing off the ball. Robert Davis down inside, looks to be inside the 3-yard line now.
Yeah, Davis with the dive over to the right tackle slot.
Robert should be up around 85, 90 yards so far.
All right, the ball is at the 2 now. Yeah, Davis is probably easily there with the long run that he had from scrimmage in the first set for the touch. No, he did score.
55
he did score that
yards,
first
yes,
time, 55 yards. Robert had almost 400 yards of personal offense in the game against Midfield last week. All right, here's the handoff to Davis, and there's another one. Put another 6 on the board, as we used to say.
Robert Davis, the county's leading scorer this year, over 150 points now from Robert Davis.
Robert gets the congratulations of Brian Greer and others as he comes back. The clock is stopped with 4:23 remaining in the first period. And the score is 13-0. Homewood over John Carroll, and we may add another one here in just a minute. We can't say enough while we have a pause here about the guys helping us out tonight. We've got two cameramen really out in the weather tonight, and we want to give you their names in just a minute as we watch Wes Steed kick it through. That particular drive that time, Fred, was 5 yards, 36 yards after 5 plays over 36 yards after the turnover down inside Carroll territory. The fumble on the quarterback sack. But as I was saying, we've got two cameramen out in the elements tonight, and the game is being produced and switched, if you will, in a truck out behind the stadium where guys are a little bit out in the elements as well. So we really appreciate that. And not only that, we must mention Mike Whitten, who has taken over on the sidelines for us as our spotter and unofficial statistician. Mike is walking up and down in the rain just like everybody else, and letting us know yard lines, downs and distances, numbers of players. It's really, really helpful. And Mike, I know you're watching this probably in the comfort of your home right about now, but buddy, we appreciate it.
We sure do.
Thank you very much. Here's Steed's kick, and it's a low roller, but we've got a flag again. You reckon we've got another procedure penalty?
It was difficult to. I didn't watch the line as they fired off. I thought the plan was good. A soggy field, a wet ball. The two add up to potential problems for John Carroll so far tonight. I like the approach the Homewood coaches are taking. Make John Carroll handle the ball in a less than positive situation. Looks to be an offsides by John Carroll.
Maybe by John Carroll. So now the ball will be teed up on the 45-yard line. Interestingly enough, the quick stat on Robert Davis is 6 carries, 87 yards. We've got 4:23 remaining in the first quarter. Robert's off to another great night.
I'm sure Coach Gann would like to get a comfortable lead, pull some of these starters out, rest them for next week. Irwin, their probable first-round opponent, played last night, beating, I believe it was Leeds at Legion Field.
Well, that time heads-up play by the Carroll defender. I believe it was John Carroll's number 76, Chance Willingham, right up there on the front. As the ball came and literally hit him, I think, in the knee pad, he immediately fell on it, realizing that the Homewood kicking team was upon him. And so Carroll, with good field position now, line of scrimmage just shy of their own 40-yard line, call it the 39-yard line, as John Carroll tries to get something going offensively. The clock now running with 4:10 remaining in the first period. Here's a good look at the Homewood defensive line as they set to fire off. Hughes gives to Chris Wright, number 4. Rebels and Coggins in on the stop. Michael Coggin getting up with a little bit of a limp on that left ankle, it looks like.
Though someone might have fallen on that ankle in the pileup.
Might have.
On that play, number 79, Jonathan Hammaker guessing right, slanting to the ball, creating some problems for John Carroll. Just don't see John Carroll's offensive linemen having much luck so far blocking these Homewood Patriots.
You know, Chris Wright, number 4, who got the ball that time and who was the fake that time, Wright was not listed as on the starting lineup for John Carroll. I don't know what may be going on with that. You see Dusty Smith there. Dusty in on that tackle, just as he's been in on so many tackles this season. But what we're saying is Chris Wright, number 4 for John Carroll, seems to be playing a good bit of offense. It was not listed as a starter.
Several starters for John Carroll out with injuries, this being their final game of the year. And as I said, they played a very challenging schedule against some much larger schools, more talented schools.
Well,
and
Michael Coggin,
taking its toll.
Michael Coggin has come out, and I think he's going to rest that ankle just a little bit. Here's the give around the left side. Hughes keeps it and pays the penalty. Gain of maybe a yard or 2, but it's going to bring up 4th and 6.5. So Dusty Smith checks out and Robert Davis checks in as Chip Hughes drops back for John Carroll to punt. It's a good look there at the field and the condition that it's in. It's getting more and more torn up. Hughes gets his punt away. Robert's going to let it go. It'll roll dead just shy of the 20-yard line. Call it about the 22. and Homewood will take over for its third offensive possession. 2:34 now remaining in the first period of play. A good look at the non-populous John Carroll stands across the way.
One of the direct results of going 0-8 so far this year, or make that 0-9 now, finishing up the season. You see our own Homewood stands.
I was going to say, we're not doing much better, but we've got a lot of faithful fans who come out regardless of what the weather is. 34 yards on that punt by John Carroll's Chip Hughes. Homewood takes over now. Line of scrimmage to 22. You can see the rain coming down as Jay Roberson gives to Kenneth Evans. Kenneth fights his way out over the 25. I think you're right, Fred. I think maybe another touchdown, and the coach might put in some other guys and give his starters a rest.
I think he will. 21-0 so far, with no more offense than John Carroll has shown, would dictate starting to replace some of those starters, getting some guys that have practiced hard all year long, get them some game action, and rest those starters for next week, because Irwin will not be an easy game. It's always difficult to play someone twice in a year, and Homewood did not run away with the game last time.
Well, that was the pitch out to Davis. A flag flew right into the middle of things. We'll have to see what the call might be. A tackle made by number 34 for John Carroll, Daniel Nix, as he dragged Robert Davis to the ground. The officials are discussing this with John Carroll. It looks like we might be guilty of holding. We'll have to see. There's the mark off. Major distance penalty, and the call is indeed holding. Holding against Homewood. That puts us back a little ways. Now the line of scrimmage at the 17, Fred, it looks like.
Interesting. It seems as though it's raining harder still. The rain continues to fall.
The rain really coming down. Here's the give to Davis, but he was hit on the right side of the Homewood line as he came through. That's going to bring up a third and about 12 now. John Carroll's Chance Willingham and Jason Mitchell on the stop. Mitchell, I believe, that number 65 is is one of their defensive captains. He's their linebacker, one of their inside linebackers. Good shot of the Homewood coaching staff there.
To be about 3rd and 14 right now. Interesting call. You would wonder if Homewood would go with that bootleg pass again with the rain coming as hard as they are. Obviously they are.
Yeah, Roberson looks, throws. Did he catch it? He caught it. What an incredible catch by Dwight Whalen. He caught it twisting around sideways and held on to that ball in the middle of a driving rainstorm.
Interesting. Homewood, if they're going to throw the ball in this situation, and really there's nothing wrong with throwing it in a driving rainstorm. The officials are doing the best they can to get a dry ball on the field, and your receivers know where they're going. The defensive men don't. So the short passing game should work good for Homewood, used sparingly.
4th and 1 now, or 4th and less than 1, really. It's going to be extremely close after that 11-yard pass play reception by Dwight Whalen. And I'm not sure. Well, the clock has now run out. That's exactly what we were waiting on. There you see the end of the first quarter. The score, Homewood 14 and John Carroll nothing. You're watching Homewood Patriot football.
South Trust Bank is pleased to support Homewood High School athletics and wishes the Patriot football team a winning season. Whether it's community service or quality service at one of our convenient offices, South Trust Bank is working harder for you.
This fall, enter the Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes and win a free limo to and from school. It's Bo Jackson.
School was never like this.
Or a $1,000 shopping spree.
School was never like this.
And best of all, Pepsi will give the lucky winner up to $100,000 towards college.
School was never like this.
Shh! The Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes.
School was never like this.
Didn't I just say that?
Enter the Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes.
Okay, last time. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Well, back here at an obviously soggy Waldrop Stadium in Homewood, Soggy only in physical appearance, not too soggy in terms of the score. We're just getting ready to start the second quarter, and Homewood leads John Carroll 14-0. If you're just joining us, this is Barry Copeland along with Fred Morris. We're delighted to be bringing you this replay of the final game of the Homewood regular season. And Fred, I'm delighted to say that it's not the final game, it's just the final game of the regular season.
Not at all. Homewood next week starts a playoff action, taking on E.B. Irwin here at Waldrop Field. If you're watching this playback Wednesday night, make your plans to come out on Friday night, just day after tomorrow, to watch Homewood take on Irwin for the second time this season. Homewood winning the first meeting between the two teams. Their first home game, as a matter of fact, for this 1990 season was the Irwin Eagles. Coach Larry Ferris bringing his team across town to face the Patriots, and they will do battle again on Friday night, first game of the 1990 5A playoffs. A close game up into a point. The first meeting, Homewood eventually pulling away late in the game, but I'd have to say, the most physical game this season for Homewood. A lot of hard hits in that game, and so just very physical action. Should be the same way this Friday night.
Homewood appears to be going for it on fourth and about a foot. Interesting stats from the first quarter. Robert Davis, 7 carries, 90 yards now. Kenneth Evans, 3 carries for 16, and Jay Roberson is 2 out of 3 in the passing department for 22 yards. So despite the rain and a soggy, wet football, Roberson continuing to pass and mix up that offense. Here we go, fourth and less than a yard. The give was to Evans. Evans over left tackle, and I think Kenneth should have plenty. John Carroll's number 77, Thomas Taylor, in on the stop, but only after we made plenty of yardage for the first down. Interesting play, isn't it? Here we are early in the second quarter. Homewood with a 2-touchdown lead, and the potential to not make that and have Carroll take over deep in our own territory.
Interesting play. I don't believe he made it by that much. He might have gained 2 yards, but he only needed 1.
Well, here's the give to Davis. Davis breaks 2 tackles, and around the left side, out to about the 43-yard line now, shy of first down yardage, but a strong run that time. Robert hit 2 people, and they still stood up straight.
I think Homewood's game plan for the first half anyway is to put 3 touchdowns on the board, possibly 4, if they can. You'll probably see very few of these starters in the second half. 4 touchdowns in the first half should wrap this game up for Homewood, and that would probably please Coach Gann immensely.
Well, that time they stopped by Akers and Tutterick for Carroll. Here's the give this time to Kenneth Evans. Looks like Kenneth will be close to first down yardage. We'll just have to see exactly where they spot it down. Officials calling timeout to measure the gain. While we have this timeout, I'm going to shuffle through my papers here, and I thought I had a list of the officials. No, we'll get that for you, though. I know I've got a list of their names somewhere. If not, we'll go, as you look at a shot of the Homewood sideline there.
Just to be short, third and less than a yard.
Third and an inch, according to Mike Whitten on the sidelines. Going to be close. We'll see what Homewood decides to do. They're going to give it to Kenneth Evans, and Kenneth breaks the plane of the 45-yard line out to about the 46. Plenty of room for the first down as Homewood grinds up the yardage and grinds up the clock.
Grinds up the clock, absolutely.
10:34 now remaining in the second period of play. Akers again on the stop for Carroll. And you get the defroster on the window here as starts to fog up a little bit. John Carroll stunning a blitz. Jay on the fake. A long pass downfield, but everybody was going for it. Michael Andrzejewski was the intended receiver, but John Carroll's number 10, Jay was back defending. The pass just a little bit underthrown. Michael had to stop.
Had to stop.
And cut back, and that enabled Waz the time to get there and knock the ball away.
Long pass, a difficult pass to throw in this type of weather with a wet ball. You can effectively throw the short game in wet weather. It's a little harder to throw that deep pattern. Sometimes you will strike pay dirt running a sideline pattern straight, a fly pattern, but those passes over the middle like that are difficult to hit in this type of monsoon.
Here's the pitch to Davis. Davis works around right in. He broke 2. Still running. Down just over the 40 if they give him that. I believe they'll mark it out just at the 40-yard line. The stop by Jay Wass. Jay Wass getting a workout tonight, number 10 for John Carroll, getting a real workout tonight. There you get a shot of some of the folks on the sideline after that 14-yard run by Robert Davis. Davis again broke 2 or 3 tackles on his way around the right side. John Carroll just not seeming to be quite able to hold on and bring him down tonight. Jay falling, but gets the pass away to Michael Andrzejewski. And you know something, I mistakenly identified Alexander Adamson a few minutes ago as Michael Andrzejewski. And Alexander, Zan, if you're watching, I apologize. I got my numbers mixed up. That time it was Michael Andrzejewski, and Jay was falling on his back leg as he threw that ball.
I believe he slipped on the turf as he went to set his foot and make the throw. Good athletic ability allowed him to complete the pass, and I'm sure Michael is glad he did. He has another reception for this year.
Well, here we are now with second and about 3.5. The give to Robert Davis. Plenty of room for the first down and more. Robert still running, cuts back in, down inside the 10. What a run. Goodness gracious. Oh.
This John Carroll team just not a very physical team and just unable to contain Robert Davis tonight.
Well, obviously a first down there. Deep down inside John Carroll territory. It looks like the line of scrimmage will be about the 6. 25-yard run by Robert Davis. Puts him well over 100 yards on the night.
The ball at the 6-yard line.
Is it the 6? About the 6-yard line now. Homewood with the first and goal from the 6. We've got movement on the left side of the line.
Make that the 11-yard line.
Make that the 11-yard line. That'll put Davis up to about 115 or 20 now. Procedural call against Homewood. And then they'll mark off the 5 yards. You know, his running was just incredible. He has that, not only the speed, but the presence of mind to know when to move at just the right time. Lateral movement is as effective, if not more effective, than his straight-ahead speed.
It sure is. He has good field vision. O.J. Simpson said one time that if he sees the defensive player nearest to him, he's no longer concerned about, because he's already looking past that man to the second player down the field or the third player away from him, because he has already taken steps to make that first player miss. Robert Davis is the same.
Whoa, touchdown. Roberson on the pass that time to Alexander Adamson. And there's a touchdown. You can put in the record books for Zand and for Jay.
Making up for the previous pass, Jay Roberson having a good night throwing the ball, and his receivers are surprisingly catching the ball well under inclement conditions.
Sure-handed under this awful weather we're playing in. Well, on an 11-yard touchdown pass, Jay Roberson to Alexander Adamson, and that puts Homewood on top 20-0 with 8:04 remaining. West Steed in the ball game to make it 21, we hope. A fake. Roberson will pass, and the pass is complete. Was it Kenneth? No, who was it? Was it Kenneth? Yeah. Kenneth Evans. It was Evans who had lined up as a receiver, and so Homewood goes for 2 and makes it 22-0 with 8:04 remaining in the second period of play.
I believe that was a planned play that time, Barry. I believe it was difficult for Kenneth Evans to get that far in the flat on a play that wasn't planned. It didn't appear to be this bad snap. Homewood just practicing their 2-point conversions.
Kenneth Evans there getting some congratulations from Michael Ashley, number 31, as he comes back to the sideline. I know offensive coordinator and assistant head coach Bob Newton is delighted with the performance of the team tonight. They're really playing just first-class football.
Interesting that so far this year we haven't played in weather like this or conditions like this. We've played in some drizzle. I believe Fairfield had that type of night.
We haven't cheered in conditions like this either. The cheerleaders are doing their duty out in the wet tonight. We're going to hope to give you their names in just a little bit as you watch West Steed kick it off. A long kick. It's going to go out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, and they'll have to bring that one back. and kick it again. As Wes was aiming for the corner that time and didn't quite make it. He's amazingly accurate with that toe.
I believe we've had more penalties tonight than we've had all season. I believe Homewood is probably already up to 40 yards in penalties.
We have indeed. You know, John Carroll, despite their record on the season, Fred, we were talking before the broadcast, has a rich football tradition. They have over the years been an extremely strong school. I remember when I was in high school in the Birmingham area, Pat Sullivan was quarterback at John Carroll, and went on, of course, to become the Heisman Trophy winner from Auburn, and is now one of their coaches.
Along with Pat Sullivan, Tom Banks, center at
Auburn center.
Dick Schmaltz played at Auburn. Trace Armstrong in the NFL now for the Chicago Bears, played his prep ball at John Carroll, as did Wes Hopkins with the Philadelphia Eagles. Not sure how many high schools in the Birmingham area can boast of 2 NFL players.
Jay Waz takes the ball in for John Carroll and brings it back. They'll be set to start 1st and 10 now from, looks like, about their 38-yard line, perhaps 39-yard line. Interestingly enough, that Homewood scoring drive covered 15 plays. We took quite a while with that, and 73 yards for the score. Tremendous ball control.
But so far tonight, they've scored about every way you can. Through the air, on the ground, long drives, short drives, taking advantage of their opponent's mistakes.
All right, from the 39-yard line now, Hughes with the pass out to Wright, and I believe it went in and out of his hands. They're signaling no good. He was falling as he was catching it, and the pass was just underthrown. Again, that's Chris Wright, number 4 for John Carroll, has seen a tremendous amount of action tonight, considering the fact that he was not listed in their starting lineup.
Sure. Interesting, you brought up prior to the game the fact that this could become and should become a very big rivalry for Homewood due to the fact that John Carroll is constructing their new high school just within a mile of Walford Stadium.
In the Wildwood development, so they're going to be right in our backyard, and this, I think, will become an even bigger rivalry over the years. Incomplete. The pass out to 81, I believe that's Carlisle. Yeah, Jeff Carlisle.
Elvin Skipper
defending that time, and the pass incomplete.
You know, we've got to call attention to this Homewood secondary. These guys have played well all year long. Elvin Skipper, Eugene Oliver, and we've seen them take some licks this year. The McAdory game comes to mind. We've also seen them pass out some pretty good hits. Scott Hogeback and Brian Greer. The secondary's played extremely well all season long.
Here's Hughes to pass, and he throws it away into the Homewood sideline, so that'll bring up 4th and 10 now.
Scott Hogue had touchdown on his mind that time. He made the perfect break for a ball. Had it been perfectly thrown, would have been 6 points Homewood. Scott Hogue in perfect position that time.
Intended for Stan Huner, number 45 for John Carroll, but the ball was way overthrown, and so their quarterback, Chip Hughes, is back to kick it. Greer and Davis are back deep to receive, and I believe Robert Davis will take it in. He bobbles the ball, but Homewood recovers. I believe Robert fell on it.
He sure did. Dangerous catch that time by Robert. On a play like that, in weather like this, there's really no damage, seldom any damage, in allowing the ball to hit with such soggy conditions and turf such as it is. You're not going to get a 20-25 yard bounce as you would on a normal playing field.
A 24-yard punt that time by Hughes for Carroll. And we'll call the line of scrimmage now the 37 of Homewood, as Wes Steed now in at quarterback. Steed quarterbacking the team. He gives to Davis on the handoff, and Davis hit in the backfield. Play failed again.
It's number 64.
Stopped by Dale Sullivan. Yeah.
Nose tackle, slanting that time to the wide side of the field, or the strength of the Homewood formation, and guessing right, coming face to face with Robert Davis, stopping him for a loss of, looks to be 2 yards on the play.
Well, Steed in the game at quarterback now. Andrew Jeske also in the game. We'll try and identify any new players who come in for you as they come in. We still have Kenneth Evans as the fullback and Robert Davis as the tailback. Here's the give this time to the first man. No, Steed keeps around the left side.
It's like he made the pitch at just the right time,
just the right time. Davis looking back, brought down. Robert was looking back and was brought down at about the 1 yard line. How about that? Is it on the one, just about on the one?
It looks to be inside the 1 yard line.
A 64-yard running play. West kept the ball around to the left, and then just at the last possible second pitched it out to Robert.
West that time pulling in Oklahoma, or as you saw maybe last year, the Colorado-Nebraska game, kept the ball around in and was actually headed upfield, was being brought down and pitched the ball. Unfortunately, it looks as though it's going to be brought back.
We must have a flag. I don't see it on the field. We'll see if we can get a call for you. There it is, over on the far sidelines. So a 64-yard run by Robert Davis on a pitch out from West Steed nullified. The word from the sideline is that this is a forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage, so he must have thrown it forward just a little bit.
That was the one danger. West made a good pitch. Unfortunately, it did go, instead of going horizontal to the line of scrimmage,
just a little bit
parallel to the line of scrimmage, it went a little forward.
Right. All right, that's a loss of down, so we now bring up 3rd and about 6, the way we look at it here. We'll remind you the line of scrimmage back on the 41-yard line. 3rd and 6. Steed over the ball. Carroll stunning. Fakes on the give. He rolls out. He's going to keep. Cuts inside. Got his first down out to the 50-yard line and a little bit more. Room for the first down. West Steed is a threat to run when he's got his hands on the ball. He's an excellent passer. A great field general, so to speak, and that he's got that peripheral vision you were talking about, too. He can tell what's going on around him real well, but he is a threat to run. 13 yards on that play.
Look, West Steed's a little quicker than Jay Roberson is. Jay's a little taller, has a little better arm, but West has those quick moves that makes the defenders miss him, as one did that time, allowed him to get his first down.
Well, here we are, 1st and 10, just inside Carroll territory as they show blitz, and the give to Kenneth Evans, who fights up to about the John Carroll 46, maybe even inside the 46, closer to the 45. Chris Wright on the stop for Carroll. Wright getting a tremendous amount of play tonight.
And one play we didn't give Chris Wright enough credit for was catching Robert Davis inside the 1 yard line, chasing him down 64 yards.
You're right about that. Robert was looking around to see who was behind him, and Chris Wright was back there. Okay, 2nd and about 6 now from Carroll's 46. Here's the pitch out to Robert Davis. Davis cuts outside, running room for the first down and more. Over the 30. Are they going to mark him out of bounds inside the 30? Maybe at about the 33-yard line. 13-yard gain again that time. Boy, Robert Davis is grinding out the yardage.
Robert ready to play tonight. He's already added 2 touchdowns to his total, his county leading total, over 155 points now, and more yardage to his rushing total. He has over 1,242 yards for the season so far.
Here's Steed on the pitch out to Davis. Davis working his way outside, but the pursuit is excellent by John Carroll. John Carroll's number 45, Stan Huner, and also number 34, Daniel Nix, in on the stop. I tell you, Fred, one thing we do that we need to probably do a better job of is mentioning some of the excellent blocking that's going on.
On this right side, Stanley Lee has had 3 excellent games in a row on this right side, along with Steve Carpenter, who has joined this offensive line on a regular basis when Eric Rebels went down with a leg injury, and has really performed well down the stretch.
Good shot of the line. Here's the give to Evans. Evans over the middle. He's away to the races. They're going to drag him down, looks like at about the 2-3-yard line maybe. Oh, another foot, another step, and Kenneth breaks the plane of the goal before his knee touches down. Great run from scrimmage by Kenneth Evans to take Homewood down and give us a first down and goal from inside the 5-yard line.
And once again, there's that man again, Stan Wright.
Yeah, Chris Wright.
Making the touchdown-saving tackle for John Carroll again, if only for one play.
Yeah, we need to write him into your depth chart. 26-yard run from scrimmage for Kenneth Evans. The bump and run that time, but the give to, it was to Kenneth, right?
Kenneth Evans.
Give to Evans, and Evans scores. So, we put another 6 on the board and make it Homewood 28 and John Carroll nothing, with 3:21 remaining in the first half of play.
And let's call those guys on the left side of the line that time. That's Chris Lusko, Jonathan Hamaker, and don't forget the center, Chris Cowan, who's played well all season long. That interior line has done a good job and stayed relatively injury-free, which is important.
Here's the kick by Weststeed, but again a penalty flag falling right before the whistle blowing right before the snap. So we'll have to see what the call is that time. As you can see on these shots, there is still rain coming down. It's not. It's just peppering gently now. Not nearly as hard as it was before. Good-looking shot of Robert Davis. We're going to try and give you some unofficial stats at half, but we can tell you he's had a dynamite night so far. Looks like perhaps offside's the call against John Carroll. Let's see. Encroachment against John Carroll. Encroachment being the fancy way of saying offside. And that's what, half the distance in that particular situation?
Homewood chooses to kick the ball now. They're half the distance to the goal line inside the 2, and on the previous play at regular distance they go for 2.
The kick is up, and the kick is good. 3:21 remaining in the first half of play with timeout on the field. As you look at a shot of one of our television cameras down on the 20-yard line to our right, and the and the makeshift orange rain slick to keep the water off of those cameras. Homewood leads John Carroll 29-0. And we may see some players now who have clean jerseys. Robert Davis, here's a stat for you. 13 carries, 157 yards on the night. We're still in the first half of play.
Interesting. Coach Gann might choose to take Robert Davis out of the game at this point, or he may leave him in for the rest of the first half. Either one would be what you would call acceptable according to the coach's book everyone refers to. But we will see some of the reserves in the second half, get some game experience, and it also builds good team unity.
Carroll's receiver lets the ball go, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. So they'll bring it out and start it fresh at the 20-yard line. John Carroll has had a tough season, no doubt about it. And it must be tough at this point of any game. You're still in the first half. You're down 29-0. It's raining and cold on a Friday night. You're playing on the other guy's field. What does the coach say?
You have to be a master motivator to keep them coming back and getting after it. And Coach Stewart is an outstanding coach, highly thought of in coaching circles, and he'll keep this team coming out and battling. They're just simply outmanned against Homewood.
Hughes on the pass. I might mention Jason Zarzauer is now in the game, number 53, and also I believe Mark Scholl is in the game, number 50. We're going to have to watch for these new numbers as they come out. Some of the fellas getting some playing time that they have not had. There's a good shot of the varsity cheerleader squad for the Homewood Patriots. Girls like Jenny Crumpton and Brooke Dill, Suzanne Graffos, Allison Grizzle, Casey Kirby, Amanda Cook, Allison Leggett, Jessica Oakes, Carrie Rose, and Jean Steelman, your Homewood Patriot cheerleaders for 1990 and 91. As Carroll continues now, they're going to go back and run the ball. They find they have better success on the ground. That time to give to John Paul Church, one of their workhorse tailbacks. The stop by our number 53. That's Jason Zarzauer. Jason, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I believe that's the way you pronounce it. John Carroll now with 3rd and 6. Hughes on the give. And it goes nowhere. Chris Wright, who's spent a lot of time on the playing surface of Waldrop Stadium here tonight. Damon Southward, Eric Rebels, Mark Scholl in on the stop that time for Homewood. As players check in and out, Zarzauer comes out, Hamaker goes back in. Scholl comes out. Robert Davis is in now as Chip Hughes goes in punt formation. Whistles before the snap. So we'll have to see.
Be a dead ball foul sometime.
Yeah, some type dead ball foul. You know, it's interesting. We need to point out to the folks that as we're approaching halftime here with 2:01 remaining in the first half, because of the terrible weather, the inclement weather tonight, the band will not perform at halftime. Interestingly enough, not only do you run the risk of damage to instruments that's really needless, this being the final game of the season, but the band has very expensive wool uniforms, and that wool would just be ruined in a downpour like this. It's also be tough marching. Heavy rush that time, but the ball is kicked away. Davis is going to let it roll dead, and it takes a good John Carroll bounce down inside the Homewood 45 to about the 43. So no band performance at halftime. We're going to leave you at the half and pick up the action again at the start of the third quarter.
One of the things to look for in the second half, depending on the rush that Homewood puts on Chip Hughes as he punts in the second half. The only thing that saved John Carroll so far in this first half of play from having a punt block is the fact that Chip Hughes is a one-step punter. He simply takes the snap, takes one step, and the ball is kicked out of there. If he were a two-step punter or even a three, as some kickers are, he would have had at least one, maybe two blocked, because Homewood has come terribly close on several occasions to blocking those kicks.
Well, we've got Jameel Bullard in the backfield playing the fullback slot. Also, Tamer Sabry, number 21, is in.
Number 85, Brian Anderson, in at an in position for Homewood now.
So with some new clean jerseys in, we'll try and spot these for you as some fellas get some playing time that they've not had so far this year, and this is a good opportunity to do that. Michael Andrzejewski comes wide to the right. As you look at a discussion, Coach David Jones and Coach Mike Thorson having a talk about things out there. Wes Steed is your quarterback now. Steed on the give to Tamer Sabry. Good running by Tamer down inside John Carroll territory and across, I believe, the first down mark, which was at the 42. Yes, there's a first down for Homewood. The 46-yard line is going to be the line of scrimmage.
Michael Walden also in number 14 at a wide position for Homewood.
Yeah, Walden comes wide to the right, and Andrzejewski goes wide to the left. Again, Bullard is the fullback. Sabry is the tailback, and Steed the quarterback, as we look perhaps at a little preview of what next year might look like. Wes on the throw to Andrzejewski. The ball is caught. Yes. Falling and caught the ball. Excellent catch.
Fine catch.
11 seconds remaining in the half. The clock is stopped with only 11 seconds remaining in the half. If I had to bet, well, the clock now rolls again, and we may not get another play off as we look at 5, 4, 3. We won't get another play in this half, but it was an exciting first half of play and a very beneficial first half of play for the Homewood Patriots. The first half is over. The score, Homewood 29 and John Carroll nothing. As the players go to the dressing room, we'll tell you that we'll be back with the third quarter of play following this message from some of our fine sponsors. Please stay with us. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
So, when was the last time you were screened for cancer?
I don't think I've ever been screened for cancer.
And why?
Broadcast of last Friday night's game between the Homewood Patriots and the John Carroll Cavaliers. I'm Barry Copeland along with Fred Morris. It's our pleasure to be bringing you this replay of the game. Would remind you, if you've just joined us, that the score here in Homewood is 29-0. Homewood up over John Carroll. And Fred, what has so far been a pretty easy game for the Patriots?
So far, they've had it just the way they wanted it. They came out quickly, put two quick touchdowns on the board, as is their usual mode or their usual operation. Come out, score quickly, score several times. In the past, they've somewhat lost their motivation or concentration in previous games, but not so tonight.
Well, there's the opening kickoff, and Robert Davis takes it in with about a 15-yard return or so, but he's met head-on at the 35-yard line by number 34 for John Carroll, and that's Daniel Nix. Interesting statistics from the first half, and we would again stress that these are unofficial statistics, but as kept by our statistician and spotter on the sideline, Mike Whitten, Homewood with 10 first downs to John Carroll's 2. significantly. Homewood with 235 yards rushing in the game so far for their 29 points. Of those, Robert Davis had 157 on the half. Here's the pitch back to Tamer Sabry. Tamer goes around right in, but is stopped after a gain of about 3 yards. Another statistic, Fred, and one that we don't like to bring, is that Homewood was penalized a great deal during the first half. 5 penalties and 40 yards.
Quite a few of those offsides and procedure penalties. Sometimes conditions like this, a wet field, concentration is somewhat lacking, and thus more penalties tonight than I remember in the last 5 or 6 games.
We'll try and set the offensive line for you as we can spot the numbers. Pretty much this is going to be the second team in tonight, and starting the second half, they're going to get a great deal of experience. Brian Anderson is in at an end. Wes Steed is the quarterback, number 15. The stop on that play, that time by Arthur Deutsch. They're number 15. Also in the game, Jason Jones is number 20. Jason coming out now. Number 72, Adam Reeves. Michael Walden is in the game, number 14. Frankie Giuliano, number 3, is in the game, you see there. Of course, 72 was Adam Reeves. Number 74 is Darian Finley, a down lineman. Here's third and about 8. Steed fakes, rolls left. Steed on the keeper. He cuts outside, a couple of great blocks. A good block that time by Frankie Giuliano, as I believe Wes gets plenty of yardage for his first down. We'll have to see where they mark it, but yes, he does get plenty of yardage for his first down as the ball is spotted just across the 50-yard line.
Wes Steed bringing an aspect to this Homewood offense that Jay Roberson, it's not that Jay doesn't bring this aspect to the offense, it's just he's not as quick as Wes Steed. Wes seeing the opening around the left end that time, and a couple of fakes on the pass, but he was not going to put it up.
A new quarterback now, number 2. Henry Walburn is at quarterback. Walburn, the sophomore. Steed, the junior. Walburn on the give to Sabry. Sabry across the right side of that Homewood offensive line. The play good for maybe a yard or 2. Looks like it's going to bring up second and about 7 now. Number 68, Michael Narrow, has checked in the game, and also 74, as we told you, Darian Finley is in. Homewood, I suspect, Fred, will be substituting fairly liberally here as we start the second half. The coach has got a great opportunity to get a good look at some of the guys who haven't played much this year.
They sure do.
Hazelton is in the game, number 12. Hazelton comes wide to the left. Here's Walburn at quarterback. The give to Jameel Bullard.
The Homewood coach is not wasting any time bringing in these replacements, also these substitutes, getting game experience. Some coaches will bring out their first team to start the second half, run a series or 2 with them, and then pull them out of the game. Homewood wasting no time getting some younger players in to start this second half.
That stop by that time by John Carroll's number 88, Andy Shue. Here comes Walburn wide to the left. It looks like Hazelton is wide to the right. Henry Walburn, the sophomore quarterback, over center. Walburn gives to Bullard. Bullard over left tackle. Won't be enough for the first down. Will bring up 4th and probably 3. We would expect to see Homewood punt the ball. Carroll expects it, at least, as they shift teams, bring in their special teams. John Carroll now calling timeout because Homewood appears to be going for it.
John Carroll asleep at the wheel that time. No one coming in for Homewood, no punter, and Homewood not even really looking to set up in a punt formation. Henry Walburn that time simply coming up to the line of scrimmage to run a 4th down play. If John Carroll had not called timeout, they would have been caught with their 2 deep men on about the 5-yard line, and Homewood running a regular offensive play.
Now Homewood sends its first team back on the field for the punt. Jay Roberson is in and apparently will punt it. Kenneth Evans in as a blocker back. Homewood's starting offensive and defensive linemen back in the game. You can see Coggins there, Rebels, Steed, Smith. Lee Thompson. Steed's in to snap the ball. Roberson back to punt it. Now they have no one back. John Carroll has no one back, and they'll let this punt go unmolested. Jay gets a good kick away. The ball hits on the 10-yard line. Oh, and almost rolls out of bounds. You can't see it for the camera tent there, but almost rolls out of bounds at the 1-yard line, but it does go into the end zone. So that'll be a touchback, and that will put John Carroll in business at their own 20-yard line. 8:03 now remaining in the third period of play.
John Carroll needing desperately to get anything going. Offensively, they were held to just 2 first downs in the first half, and their rushing and passing yardage were woeful at best.
A 42-yard punt by Jay Roberson that time with a great roll. Here's Carroll from their own 20 now. Henry Walburn is at the corner. We'll try and set these defensive players as we can. Hughes pitches back, but the timing was immaculate on the part of Brian Greer and Henry Walburn. Those two up to make the stop for Homewood. Also in the ballgame, Michael Ashley, number 31. We're looking at Jason Zarzauer again on the one of the offensive linemen.
One time Hughes making a decision to stop and pitch the ball, and again the Homewood defense making the right guess on that play. Hughes keeps the ball. He gets 8 or 10, maybe 15 more yards on that play. Fortunately, he chose to pitch it, and Homewood shut it down completely on the pitch.
Great defensive play in the middle of the line. Dusty Smith was one of the ones. Who else in there? Who's playing on number 75 tonight? Help me out, Coach. I don't have him. Mark Scholl and Jason Zarzauer in. We'll see if we can get that for you. Who is? See if Mike Whitten can get who number 75 is, Larry. Thank you, sir.
Let's see some of the crowd.
It's just a number that we don't have on the official Homewood roster, and we're going to have to see who that is.
Made an outstanding play.
He made a great play right up the center of the line there. Here comes Carroll in motion to give on a misdirection play to their number 11. 41, I'm sorry, John Paul Church, 31. Ashley on the stop, number 31. That's Shane Davis is number 75, a freshman. Brought up from the freshman team. Davis, number 75. Well, he's got good size. We don't have size and height here. Chip Hughes will pass for John Carroll. Carlisle, the receiver. They called it complete, but he sure did drop it.
He sure did. Carlisle had it for a moment, and a good hit that time.
Excellent hit by Brian Greer.
Brian Greer upended him. Officials saying he had possession of it long enough, and in high school as in college and the pros, the ground can't cause a fumble.
Well, we don't have the instant replay tonight. It was either have the correct colors, Fred, or instant replay, and we chose to have the correct colors. Long pass by Chip Hughes of John Carroll, broken up rather handily over there by Elvin Skipper. Also, Brian Greer, their intended receiver, was Jeff Carlisle.
As you can tell, the rain has stopped in the second half. And John Carroll attempting to go with a passing game of sorts. Running the ball against Homewood tonight is next to impossible. They've had very little success. Just a couple of plays, the option plays have worked well for Carroll. But other than that, it's been just a bad night offensively for the Cavaliers.
Hughes fakes long throws short to 31, John Paul Church. Good shot of the tackle there. Eugene Oliver and Dusty Smith in on those tackles. Well, brings up now third and looks like 3rd and 6, maybe a 3rd and a long 6. Line of scrimmage is your 46-yard line of John Carroll. John Carroll's had the ball for a good while in this particular offensive possession, but they've not ground out much yardage. They started on their own 20 after the touchback. Chip Hughes rolls out. He'll pass long and incomplete into and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Jeff Carlisle. Down deep. Carlisle at the 30-yard line just couldn't quite scoop it up off the ground. Brian Greer got a hand on the ball that time, I believe, and tipped it, so that made the difference. 4th and a long 6 now. Robert Davis, the lone receiver for Homewood. And Chip Hughes, the punter for John Carroll. A bad pass from center. He does get it away. Unintentional, according to the referee. Davis lets the ball stop and roll dead. John Carroll, some of John Carroll's players are asking for some help in the Academy Award Department, but it won't be, according to the referee.
Wondering why on earth they did not get a penalty. Homewood continues to go after the punts, though, Barry. They see something that they'd like to get a punt block tonight. Practicing all phases of the game, they tried the two-point conversion after the touchdown and were successful. They've done lots of things tonight preparing for next week's playoff game against Irwin.
After the 25-yard punt now, Homewood 1st and 10 from its own 30, looks like about its own 34. I'm sorry. The tackle that time by number 45, Stan Huner. Line of scrimmage now just shy of the 30-yard line. 2nd and almost 10. Good shot of Damon Southward and Wes Steed. Damon looks like he's learned the Florida State cheer on the sidelines there. That would probably warm the cockles of Bobby Bowden's heart if he thought he could get a player like Damon.
It sure would. Damon, a good prospect for many colleges. Damon taking several trips now and trying to narrow down his list of potential colleges. Lots of colleges looking at Damon Southward.
Stopped by 66, Sean Shinnick of John Carroll. Shot of Jonathan Hamaker standing on the bench to get a shot of a view of the game that he may not get back into tonight. Walburn on the keeper, and the play really goes nowhere, maybe gains a yard. That's going to bring up 4th and long, and Homewood sends in its special team to kick. Shot of Chris Cowan there, number 66 on the sidelines. Chris the center. Carlisle goes deep for Carroll. Roberson in punt formation for Homewood. 3 minutes remaining in the 3rd period here from Waldrop Stadium. No scoring activity so far in this half. John Carroll blocks the punt of Jay Roberson, and they'll fall on it down in Homewood territory at about the 37, 36-yard line. Not sure if someone slipped through on that or exactly why, but Chris Wright was in real quickly and blocked that punt.
Chris Wright having a big night for John Carroll. I'm not sure if you can pick up and advance a blocked punt in high school football. I believe you can. And that might have been John Carroll's best hope to score tonight, rather than falling on the ball, just to try and scoop it up and score.
Well, there you saw the scoreboard, 2:54 remaining in the 3rd period. Carroll with the best field position I believe they've had all night. Chip Hughes looks to pass. He'll throw it out, but high. Carlisle goes up to receive it and off his fingertips. Defending on the play were Henry Walburn, number 2, and 42, Eugene Oliver. Also, Greer was back in there as a sort of a 3rd man on the play. That one was just overthrown, Fred.
Sure was. Throwing into double coverage also. John Carroll keeps this up. Eugene Oliver, Brian Greer, Henry Walburn, one of those guys is going to pick it off and head the other way with it. Throwing into double coverage, which they've done most of tonight.
2nd and 10 now as Carroll gambles with a passing offense here deep in Homewood territory. Hughes throws it with all he's got. Oliver back. Oliver intercepts it. Eugene has it at the 5-yard line. Just took it right out of the hands of the intended receiver, number 4, Chris Wright, and an excellent defensive play. Eugene got position on him. He got inside him and jumped up. He had the height on him.
The ball just underthrown. Chris Wright had a step on Eugene Oliver on that play. It wasn't really a true post pattern or a fly pattern. Wright bending the pattern inside, Eugene Oliver going with him stride for stride and taking that inside position. As we said, John Carroll not trying to disguise who they're throwing the ball to on each pass, and Eugene Oliver making a good interception.
Good shot of Eugene on the sidelines there as he takes a breather for a minute. Homewood works from its own 5-yard line. John Carroll has recovered a fumble. Inside the 5, looks like it'll be on the 4, so Homewood's defense now put to the test. We'll see who they send out. Rebels is in. Ashley is in. Dale Sullivan for John Carroll fell on the ball that time. And I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but the fact is it did. And right inside the 5-yard line, John Carroll has the ball, first and goal.
Coach Gann not panicking now. He's got, looks to be his first team secondary in, but he has some substitutes in the line and linebacker.
All right, here's the give. The keeper by Hughes. Wahlberg chases him but misses him, and into the corner of the end zone, John Carroll draws blood with 1:47 now remaining in the third period. John Carroll on the scoreboard on a 4-yard run from scrimmage by quarterback Chip Hughes.
Good play that time by John Carroll. The fake inside drew the linebackers and the defensive end on that left side, and Hughes able to just outrun everyone to the corner of the end zone.
Henry Wahlberg almost caught him from behind. Henry is extremely fast, and he almost caught him from behind, but it just was not to be that time. Carroll with a good break on the turnover, and they take it in for a score. Hughes, who just ran the ball in, their quarterback, is also their extra point kicker. The snap is high, but it looks like it was planned, and he throws a wounded duck into the end zone, and number 42, Eugene Oliver, picks it off. So, with timeout on the field, 1:47 remaining in the third period. Homewood 29 and John Carroll 6.
I guess one thing that's indicative of the way Coach Gann's going to finish up this game is the fact that John Carroll, a first and goal from the 4, Coach Gann not panicking and not choosing to go with some of his frontline players in the defensive line position and linebackers. You would think he might put in Lee Thompson, maybe Eric Rebels, try and avert a score by John Carroll. No, he basically went with the defensive setup he had at the first of the third quarter and said if John Carroll scores, they score. My guys are going to get the experience.
That's good experience for those guys too, down inside their own 5-yard line. The football, is wet and slippery, and really it makes little difference whether it's the first team or the third team when the football's wet. Now,
that's right.
There's one thing to say for sure, hands, but these are tough playing conditions no matter who's in the ball game.
Well, I think the talent level right now at John Carroll and the talent level of some of the substitutes in for Homewood right now, some of the new guys, sophomores, even freshmen playing, are a little more in line. And John Carroll not overly blessed with a great deal of talent, and I believe the sophomores and freshmen and some of the second team people for Homewood are an even match for John Carroll.
Well, that time it looked like Dwight Whalen might have taken that ball in and returned it. The stop by number 31, John Paul Church, for John Carroll, and also a stop made by Jorge Alonso, number 79. But that time a very short kick, and White took it in and returned it to the line of scrimmage now, about the 38, almost the 39-yard line. Steed is back in at quarterback, and here's his give to Kenneth Evans as the first-string fullback is back in, and Kenneth out well over the 50-yard line down to the 45-yard line. We're going to have a flag over on the far side as one of the John Carroll guys, I think, took a punch at Jonathan Hamaker while he was on the ground.
A little frustration setting in right now for John Carroll. The Cavaliers about to wrap up another winless season, and that's got to be frustrating.
If that is indeed the call, hats off to Jonathan Hamaker, who really kept his cool.
Of course, they're calling holding on Homewood right now, and the Patriots walking backward, talking it over with John Carroll's captain, number 61, Chris Wall.
Well, it is. There's the walk-off, and the call is holding. I don't know who the John Carroll player was, but I believe one of them either took a punch or had that fist right down in Jonathan's face. Just something that the officials missed.
But we're able to bring it to you here on camera.
It's interesting, down a distance here, 1st and 5 after that run. This time Carroll fired up, has Homewood behind the line of scrimmage. West was keeping the ball that time, thrown for a loss of about 2, it looks like.
Homewood has brought back in a lot of their first line offensive linemen. Number Number 73, Chris Lusko back in. Jonathan Hamaker. Chris Cowens back in at the center position. Steve Carpenter's in at guard. Stanley Lee at right tackle right now.
Well, and of course, Kenneth Evans, too.
Kenneth Evans, yes. Coach, again, working these guys a little bit in the second half.
Steed's pass to number 7, Michael Andrzejewski, in and out of Michael's hands down at the 45-yard line. He looked it in and let him go.
Just a little behind him that time, but a catchable ball. Michael should have wrapped that one up.
Zach Tankersley defending for John Carroll, although he was a step behind the play. Michael had position on him that time. As we said, Kenneth Evans in at fullback. Tamer Sabry running in the tailback slot. Robert Davis out of the game. I'm not sure how many yards Robert has finished with. At the half, he had 157, so it won't be too much more than that. Here's Steed's pitch out to Sabry. Sabry around left end, picking his way. Whoa, outside. He fumbles the ball, but the ball goes out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. Chris Wright on the stop for John Carroll, as he has been most of the night.
You could see that play develop from the snap. Good interior line blocking, the kick-out block on the corner, forcing the play. Tamer making a good cut, accelerating at the right time, and a big carry for Tamer
Big carry,
Sabry.
21 yards, as a matter of fact, on that carry for Tamer Sabry. All right, 1st and 10 now. The 36 would be the line of scrimmage. Andrzejewski split left. Steed on the give to Evans, off left tackle. Evans out in front, still driving down inside the 20 to about the 16, 15-yard line. What a run by Kenneth Evans. As time runs out in the 3rd quarter, and they'll change sides of the field, and we'll take this time out. The score, Homewood 29 and John Carroll 6. We'll be back after this from one of our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
When you think insurance, think Buddy Wade. Auto, home, business, life, or health, no matter what your insurance needs may be, Buddy Wade is your local State Farm agent with the insurance experience you want. From his office at the corner of Palisades Boulevard and Columbiana Road, Buddy has served Homewood and surrounding areas for over 15 years. When you think insurance, think experience. Think Buddy Wade. Come by and visit his office or call 942-4444.
Does your money market or savings account earn anywhere near the prime rate? If not, you should consider Central Bank's new Prime account. It pays interest tied to our prime lending rate. As prime increases, so do your earnings. Unlike other savings and investment accounts that don't move with the prime rate. Interested? Ask Central for details on how we can pique your interest. At Central Bank, each depositor is insured by the FDIC.
You look, healthy?
Picture of I am alive.
Ever been screened for cancer?
No.
Why?
Busy.
You got 2 hours?
Got 2 hours.
Got $48?
Got $48.
It's a date.
Where?
Princeton's Cancer Screening Center.
Oh, you buying?
It's my treat.
I'll get dinner.
These days, there's no reason not to get screened for cancer. Call us for an appointment.
Well, there you have a shot of Jonathan Hamaker on the bench. Jonathan twisted, I believe, a left ankle right at the end of the 3rd quarter. So as we get ready to start the 4th quarter, Jonathan is out, and maybe he'll be out for the rest of the game. At least we hope his ankle's all right, but we hope he doesn't have to go back in. Scores 29-6, Homewood over John Carroll. As you watch Tamer Sabry with a give off left tackle. Tamer with a good run down inside the 5, almost scores.
Looks to be inside the 1-yard line again, Barry. They're marking it close to the goal line. Looks to be where this official on this side has marked inside the 1-yard line.
A 14-yard gain for Tamer Sabry on the give from West Steed, and Homewood with a 1st down and goal. 4 chances from about the 1.
How many times tonight have we been tackled inside the 1-yard line? At least
3 or 4.
3 or 4. I can remember.
One was called back by a penalty, but there's a shot of West Steed as he gets ready to take the snap. On the give to Sabry, and Sabry ran headlong into a John Carroll defender. I didn't...
Chris Waugh, number 61, was the first man to meet him. Number 65, also there, Jason Mitchell.
Waugh with a good hit, and some of the newer Homewood players on that offensive line now getting a chance to experience what it's like to really face up to a team that's dug in on defense. All right, here's 2nd and goal now from the 6-inch line. Steve, the quarterback, the give to Kenneth Evans. Evans over right tackle for the score. No question about it that time. Go with what works. You know, I talked to Coach Gann right before the game, and he said, what we're going to do tonight, stick to the knitting. Stick to what works for Homewood, the basics.
And that's just the way they came out. The good combination of running and passing. Jay Roberson, at that time, throwing the ball in a downpour, torrential rain, and being effective at it. He was 2 for 3 in the first quarter and gaining good yardage. Good combination of running and throwing. Robert Davis going for 55 yards. Of course, did not hurt. And Homewood, again, mixing up the play selection very well.
Well, a 61-yard drive that time nets a score for Homewood. Here's the kick by Wes Steed. It's up. It's good. Timeout on the field. 10:48 remaining in the final period of play. Homewood 36, John Carroll 6. What fans that are left in the stadium now are loyal fans and parents of players, mostly we would say, because things have thinned out here at Waldrop Stadium just a little bit. But I'll tell you something, if you're a coach or a player on a night like this, or you're the parent of a player, you want to savor all you can. The final regular season game in what has been really, truly, for Coach Gerald Gann and his staff here at Homewood, a magnificent season.
It surely has no better way for these seniors to go out in their last regular season home game than an outstanding 36-6 victory. I'm not sure that's the last scoring we'll see this evening. We could still see more, but it's one of the games that you, as a senior, carry with you from now on. You always remember that last regular season game.
Well, here's the kickoff by Steed. West kicks it deep and into the coffin corner again. It goes into the end zone for a touchback. Interestingly enough, Mike Whitten reports from the sidelines that on the extra point after that last score, there was a low pass from center, and Jay Roberson did a great job of handling that pass, getting the ball down on the tee, and set for Steed to kick the extra point. Sometimes it looks routine, and there's a lot of skill involved in that.
Well, Jay is all season long has pulled off plays that lesser athletes would not be able to. We've seen him complete passes with defenders draped around him, make plays, running plays, when lesser athletes would not be able to complete the play, and fielding that snap was just another example of what a fine all-around athlete Jay Roberson is.
A couple of new numbers in, one right there that you see on the right side of the offensive front, number 43. We're going to try and get that player spotted for you. Don't have his name. He's not on the official roster at this point, or at least that jersey number is not on the official roster.
We need to find out fast. He just made the tackle.
We'll get that for you because he just was in on the tackle. You see some new players in the game. One player, number 31, who's getting a good bit of action here early in the second period is Michael Ashley. Number 43 is Eric Moulton. And Eric was in on that tackle. Looking also in the middle of the defensive line is number 54, and I don't see a number 54 on the roster either. We'll try and get that number for you too. Here's Hughes back to pass for John Carroll. The pass overthrown and incomplete into the sideline. .10 now remaining in this football game. Homewood 36, John Carroll 6. It's been a great game offensively for Homewood. They've done everything the right way. Paul Owen is number 54. Owen is a freshman, I believe, this year. He's in the game. Saw Paul's dad earlier. So really getting a lot of experience. Coach Gann giving all his players a lot of experience. As you see the pass tipped, intended for Jeff Carlisle, number 81, tipped by Eugene Oliver, and not quite able to recover and intercept.
John Carroll has changed quarterbacks now. They have Brian Akers in at quarterback. Brian Akers, a freshman, listed on the roster, number 11, coming in for this series for the Cavaliers, throwing 2 passes. Well,
Carroll will punt it away. Hughes is the punter. He gets a good kick away. Brian Greer's going to just let it roll, and it comes dead at about the 42-yard line. As John Carroll's Trey Ferguson touches it dead. So Homewood will have a crack at some offense here that some of the players that haven't been seen before as John Carroll gets away a 35-yard punt. We'll see again if we can set some of these names and numbers for you as you look at Henry Walbert checking into the game. 68, of course, is Michael Narrow. 50 there is Mark Scholl. 53 is Jason Sarzauer. 74, Darian Findlay. Here's the snap. Henry Walburn is your quarterback. And Jameel Bullard gets the call. Bullard, number 47, playing in the tailback position, I believe. Or no, playing in the down position, the fullback position. .9:18 remaining in the football game. A lot of Homewood players getting action tonight. Tell you who else is getting a lot of action tonight. the people working the cameras at this football game. Hard hit that time. I believe the ball slipped away, and John Carroll has recovered.
Eugene Sharp in on one of his first carries. Somewhat of a quick pitch to Eugene. Eugene hit about the same time he received the ball. Unfortunately, unable to hang on. John Carroll recovers another fumble by Homewood. Eugene in for the first time this year.
We were mentioning some of our camera people. Butch Houston is working with us tonight. Of course, Wes Gray on the 20-yard line camera to our left. Jack Munger working another camera tonight. Tommy King and Dudley Heineman working in the truck to bring you this coverage. And what a hit on Jeff Carlisle by number 33, Elvin Skipper. Carlisle's limping a little as he goes off there because of that tough hit. His knee took a real hit that time.
It sure did. Caught him about shin high. Right in the shins as he came down after catching that high pass. He's taking it to the sidelines right now, and as well he should.
I'll tell you what, my hat's off to a couple of those guys on that John Carroll team. Now they're a team with not a good record this season, but boys like Chris Wright and Jeff Carlisle and this Chip Hughes, who is their quarterback and kicker and free safety, just really working hard for the Cavaliers tonight. Here's a completed pass to I didn't get the number. Was it? It may have been 12. Hughes, the former quarterback who caught the ball that
Hughes
time.
has moved to wide receiver, and Brian Akers, is the quarterback now, number 11.
Well, it's a first down now for John Carroll, and they're down at they'll be about the 34-yard line of Homewood with 1st and 10. Good field position and opportunity now. Akers back to pass. He looks. Caught from behind.
One of the interior linemen that time just blowing through. Number 50 perhaps.
Mark Scholl.
Mark Scholl just blowing in there. Or perhaps it was even Eric Rebels
was in on that. Dusty Smith is apparently out there still, is also out there. I'll tell you, Kevin Harris working hard on that one. Kevin just came off. Number 5, we haven't seen Kevin much tonight. A lot of these fellows who haven't had much playing time tonight getting an opportunity to, and relishing that opportunity. Excellent defensive play that time by number 53, Jason Sarzauer, and number 43, Eric Moulton. Whoa, great plays. A big loss that time. They pushed Carroll back to the 46-yard line.
Not much doubt right now what John Carroll's going to try and do with Brian Akers at quarterback and the previous quarterback, number 12. That's Chip Hughes at wide receiver. And this allows this Homewood defense to just blow in there and go after the passer.
Well, here's Akers on the fake and another defensive play. This time I know Dusty Smith in on that play. Mark Scholl in, getting up there, number 50. 75.
That's the freshman Davis.
Yeah, the freshman Davis was in on that play. Wow, excellent defensive play that time.
3 plays, 3 consecutive losses, and John Carroll's time to punt once again, but they weren't fooling Homewood. It was just time for these guys to tee off and go after the passer, and go after him. They did.
No hesitancy that time about defense. Of course, Greer's going to let it roll dead, and it does so down at the 21-yard line. On a 4th and 28 punt, you've got to have some kind of kick to even get past your original line of scrimmage.
My goodness. Coach Thorson surely proud of his defense on that series. Not much doubt what John Carroll was going to do, and the Homewood Patriots took advantage of it. Lots of guys making big plays that time. Davis in, Eric Moulton in on some of his first action of the year.
Mark Scholl, number 50, excellent play. Good shot of Brian Anderson out on the tight end here on this side. Your quarterback is Henry Walburn. Walburn with the gift to Sabry. Tamer Sabry up and out across the 25-yard line to about the 26-yard line. Sabry getting a lot of work in the second half tonight. We should have been keeping stats on Tamer.
Tamer running very well. He runs hard, and he runs north and south. He doesn't give you a lot of moves, a lot of happy feet or horizontal action. He hits the hole with authority, and he falls forward. That's the thing I've noticed about Tamer. When he's tackled, he's still falling forward, gaining extra yards.
2nd and 6 now from the 26. Here's Walburn on a tight handoff up the middle. Bullard, the ball carrier, and he's out across the, well, not quite to the 30, almost to the 30. Call it the 29-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and about 2. Anderson checks out. Good shot of Michael Narrow there, number 68. Number 20, Jason Jones. Some of the Homewood faithful hollering first down on a 3rd and 3. Here's the give by Henry Walburn. Sabry tripped up in the backfield, falls forward to about the 29, but I don't believe there's going to be enough there for the first down, and Homewood's probably going to have to kick it away. Going to bring up a 4th and 2. So into the ball game, check some more familiar numbers. 8, Hogue. 48, Thompson. 24, Adamson.
Kenneth Evans in. Jay Roberson.
Rebels, Smith.
Michael Flint.
So we've got what looks like the first-string kicking specialty team. 3:40 remaining in the game, and Homewood calls a timeout. 3:40 remaining in the game. John Carroll with a touchdown and a failed attempt at the extra point, but Homewood out on top, 36-6 now. A reminder that this being the final game of the regular season doesn't mean the end of football for Homewood. As you know, we won the Area 9, and we will play, I believe, E.B. Irwin here at Waldrop Stadium this coming Friday evening. Kickoff, I'm assuming, will be at 7:30, just as it has been all year long.
This 5A classification here in Alabama, one of the more competitive classifications in the state. Irwin, a good team coming in for the second time this year. Etowah County, an outstanding team tonight. They are 9-0, completing their season, surely to go undefeated. We don't have an update on their score tonight. Walter Wellborn tonight, 6-3, playing Oxford, the winner of that game in the area playoffs. So quite a few outstanding teams. Childersburg in the playoffs this year, and Walter Wellborn, a very strong team.
Well, here's Jay Roberson to kick it away. Jay gets the punt off. Carlisle takes it in. Good to see Jeff Carlisle back in the football game. He downs it rather quickly. I'm not sure if he stumbled or if he meant to down it, but he went off with a little bit of a limp a few minutes ago, and I'm glad to see him back in the ball game. He's done a lot of work for John Carroll tonight. He's had a good football game for them. So Carroll takes over now, 1st and 10 from their own, looks like their own 36-yard line. We welcome into the warmth of the booth Mike Whitten, who has joined us now from the sidelines. So don't mind the munching of the popcorn in the background if you hear that noise. We'll try and survive the remaining 3 minutes and 18 seconds of this game without anyone on the sidelines for us. Really great that all these second-team players are getting a chance to be first-team players tonight. This not only gives them playing time, which is so precious to them, but it gives the coaches a good chance to look at these guys under real game conditions.
It does. It gives the first teamers a chance, an opportunity to rest, get some of those minor injuries healed up before next week's playoffs begin. It also builds some enthusiasm among the rest of the team. Practice Monday should be a very enthusiastic occasion, everyone getting to play, and after the game tonight, lots of guys will be talking about the plays that they made, probably for several of them, the first time this season they were making big plays.
You just made it on the air, Fred. You didn't know that. Great shot of Fred Morris in the booth here. Brian Akers fumbled the ball that time and fell on it wisely, bringing up 3rd now and 9 for John Carroll. The line of scrimmage is at their 37-yard line. Here's the fake. Akers will be back to pass, and as he goes to pass, he's hit. We'll have to see if they said he was, if the pass was in progress. Anthony Webby, number 83, with a big hit in the John Carroll backfield. So they call it. Why would the ball be down back there if it was an incomplete forward pass? It was a fumble.
I believe they called that a fumble.
Fumble that they recovered, and here they go to kick it away. Hughes kicks it away. Homewood's going to let it roll. 1:33 remaining, the clock running now. A lot of clean jerseys checking in out there. Number 28, Eugene Sharp. Homewood will work from its own 37-yard line.
Several of the players right now looking, running down the sidelines, frantically looking for a cooler of some type of Gatorade or something, surely to present to Coach Gann.
I think Coach Gann may be presented with this cooler of Gatorade from behind, not from in front.
If they can find one. I wish we had a shot of this. The guy's working frantically to find one with anything in it. Perhaps Coach Gann is one step ahead of his guys. They look to be unable to find one with any Gatorade or anything left in it.
David Southward has a pitcher which looks like about the size of a thimble in his hands. He's got a pitcher full of some kind of beverage that I'll bet he's going to present to the coach at the end of the game. 45 seconds from now, if the clock continues to run. Henry Walburn falls on the ball. They're going to let the clock continue to run.
You got to admire a coach like Coach Gann, who not only helps or approves the game plan, gets the team ready to play, works with the assistant coaches, but has enough presence of mind to empty the water buckets long before they're, perhaps they did find one full.
Some of the coaches already getting a little dousing as the clock runs now with 17 seconds remaining. In the meantime, there is a football game still underway on the field. Henry Walburn, the quarterback. Walburn on the give to Evans. Kenneth off the left tackle. This could be the last. It's 5, 4, 3, 2. Folks, the season's over. The season is over, and Coach Gann makes it back into the locker room before they get a chance to dunk it. Is Coach Gann on the field? I'm sorry. One of the coaches was running back into the locker room right at the end of time. He didn't want to get anything thrown on him.
Offensive coordinator, Coach Newton.
Well, it was a great game. With the end of the game, the score is Homewood 36 and John Carroll 6. We'll stop now for a message from some of our sponsors and be back with some closing comments after this message. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
Thinking of buying or selling a home? Wondering what a realtor...
Well, as you see, the victorious Homewood Patriots leaving the stadium or leaving the field tonight, they've got a lot to smile about. An excellent season, ending the season at 9-1. They won the Area 9 championship. And there you see the final score in this game. Homewood 36 and John Carroll 6. Fred Morris, the next step is playoffs. Region 9, and Homewood will tee it up against E.B. Irwin right here in this stadium Friday night. We'd ask everybody to join us at the stadium and bring you support out to the field.
Absolutely. We don't know in the playoffs. We know we face E.B. Irwin Friday night here at Waldrop Stadium, but after that, we're not sure how the home schedule will shape up or at this point who we're playing. We do have some idea, Walter Welborn, possibly Oxford, Etowah. There's interesting combinations, and it all comes down to who wins and the combinations. The one thing that is assured, though, is if you lose, you go home, and that's it for the season. So we'd like to see a lot of people out here Friday night when Homewood opens the playoff season against Irwin.
Yeah, we need the fan support at the stadium. If you can't make it, we'd invite you to join us here on Cable Channel 35 again next Wednesday night for the replay of the Homewood-Irwin playoff game. Great shots of the team. There's Coach Gerald Gann with a 9-1 season under his belt and headed into the playoffs this year. It's been our pleasure to bring you this replay of the game. Again, the final score, Homewood 36 and John Carroll 6. Just as a parting statistic, Robert Davis with 157 yards of individual rushing on 13 carries on the evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been our pleasure to be with you. You've been watching Homewood Patriot Football.